Well, we're already live. Thanks to everybody for coming. Hey! Welcome to the A Lot More podcast. My name's Jonathon Buckley, live from Miami. We've got one of the best looking audiences that I've seen. Hopefully we'll get a shot of the audience at some point. But thank you all for coming and congratulations on Miami because boy, oh boy, you guys are popping right now. We went out last night and it was just, I don't know if you saw this, but
place to be.
It's really happening. So obviously we're here today to talk about All-American and its final season. Has anyone seen this? Anyone seen the show in here? Yeah. Here we are. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce our esteemed guests. She's the captain of the ship. Without her, none of this would happen. It's the glue that sticks it all together. Please welcome Nkeche Carroll. We have the ever so handsome quarterback turned coach Jordan Baker, Michael Evans Bailey. Playing Layla Baker, All-American successful music producer and bar owner, Greta Oniogu. As Coop, one of the most transformative arcs in this series and such a fan favourite, Breezy. Preach was a man that had a huge and compelling redemption journey. Please welcome Kareem Grimes. And of course, the man that was leading the series for 6 series and has now returned to direct some episodes as well. Spencer James in the series. Please welcome Daniel Ezra. So I just want to go back. Obviously, it was 2018 when this all sort of kicked off, was it? It was a different time back then. It was a different world that we were living in. How does it feel now, looking back all those years and to where you first began before this series?
I mean, it's so many firsts, because it was my first time show running. For a lot of the cast, it was the first time being series regulars. I feel like we all just kind of grew up together. So thanks for forgiving me any mistakes I made. But it's just, we had no idea. Absolutely zero idea what this show would come to mean to so many people. We knew what it meant to us.
Yep.
And in a way, operating in that bubble for a while was amazing because it was just kind of like the little engine that could, and it was all of us just making this show that we were super excited about and characters we were excited to write for and to portray. And then, you know, y'all tuned in, like big time.
Big time. Yeah, big time. And I just remember that first season was so strong too. It was so compelling from the get-go. Do you remember when it first started and when you first entered the screen, Daniel, it was just like, oh, we're in for a ride here. This is something cool. And
yeah.
Do you remember how did you get involved in the series? How were you wrangled into the series? Was it a phone call, an audition?
Yeah, I was in London. I was living in London, and I got a audition for this untitled football pilot.
Untitled football pilot.
Yeah, it was called Untitled
Right.
Football Pilot. That's literally was the name of it, and I loved it. They sent me like the pilot and loved the character immediately, and it was the scene with Layla at like this on the school benches.
That was your audition
That
scene
was the
too?
audition scene. Yeah.
Was that yours?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was like that scene and like a couple others, and so I taped in London.
Yeah.
Didn't hear anything for like 2 weeks, which if you're an actor, that wait to hear anything is just the worst. Like waiting to hear yes, no, or sometimes you don't hear anything, obviously. And then it was late one night. I had just come back from getting a haircut, and my agent called me. It was like 10 p.m., which it's either really good or really bad if your agent calls you at 10 p.m. And she said, is your passport in date? And I said, yeah. And she said, okay, you need to be in LA tomorrow.
You're kidding.
And I said, for what? And she goes, that thing you auditioned for, they want to test you and meet you on the Warner Brothers lot. So I ran home, packed a bag. I didn't tell anyone. And I just kind of got a flight the next morning and spent 4 days in LA, kind of like testing with the producers and stuff. And then
Was that the first time something big like this had happened?
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah.
you were sort of not fresh at the time. You'd done some stuff, but like it was kind of like one of those big moments in life. Like, oh, this is new and happened.
Yeah.
Was it intimidating?
It was, but the best part about it was it happened so fast that I didn't really have time to process what was really going on. until after I finished auditioning. And I'm glad I didn't have to wait so long between, because I think it would have created a lot more anxiety and a lot more stress.
Yep.
So it just, I didn't really have time to think. I had to pack a bag, I had to learn lines. I was learning lines on the plane, and then went straight to Warner Brothers, and I was in the room and I was auditioning. So I'm glad it happened that fast. It was only afterwards.
Yeah.
I had some downtime, and I had a couple days to say, you just need to wait and be on ice for a couple days. I decided, I was like, all right, I might not be back to LA, so I'm gonna drive around LA and I'm gonna go see LA. And you know, I'd only seen this on TV before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Rodeo Drive and Beverly Hills. I didn't, you know, you think they're like not real places in your mind, you know, from inner city Birmingham. It's very different. And so I was driving around. I went to, people don't believe this, but it's true. I went to Griffith Observatory.
Yeah.
And you can kind of like overlook the city. And it was there I got the call, I got the part.
So you were up there.
I was like looking out.
Romantic
over LA.
moment.
It was very romantic.
Tears?
It was very romantic, yeah. And then, that was like my last day there. I came off the phone, I called my mom, and I was like, I think I'm gonna be here for a while.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
What did your mum say about that? Was she
terrified.
I was gonna say
she was terrified. It still
scared?
is, honestly. She was very nervous, very happy, obviously, but very nervous. But at the time, it was Peter Roth. He was the head of Warner Brothers at the time, Warner Brothers TV. He was the sweetest, because he was running the company, but he called me and called my mum and left a beautiful message about how...
just kind of allay some fears
about how
and
Warner
stuff.
Brothers were going to take care of me and all that stuff. He was really sweet. So
nice.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Did anyone else have to... who else had to relocate from the series? You came from Canada, didn't you? So not quite as far, but still...
Not quite as far, yeah.
It's a big difference. Like,
it is, yeah.
And you were young. You're young. You mean you're still young, but...
Thank you.
You were young then. I imagine similar sort of things. Mum and Dad might have been like, what are we thinking?
Yeah, it was a big change for me, moving countries. I originally auditioned for Olivia as well. So I flew out very similarly, like it all happened really, really fast. Sort of filmed the audition on, I think, a Wednesday. Thursday, got a call from my agent that I had to be in LA over the weekend. Was in LA from a sort of Friday, Saturday, Sunday situation through to the week, and auditioned, met Mike and Sam in the first sort of round of auditions. And then was auditioning for 2 characters simultaneously. So, and one of my audition scenes was that same bench scene, which I did 100 times. So yeah, I didn't know that was yours too. But.
Did you have to do a chemistry test?
I didn't test with Daniel.
I didn't see anyone.
Because I originally auditioned for Olivia, I did test with Mike to be siblings, and things have taken a very different turn.
In a very different direction.
Yeah.
But and then the other gentleman that was auditioning for Jordan at the time. But yeah, it was a whirlwind week for all of us, I think.
I just imagine that. Sorry to go back. I know you guys have talked about this probably at length, but I just feel like now that we're kind of getting to the end now, it's interesting to see how clearly you guys can kind of remember, because when you think about these big moments in life, and whether you've been to college for a number of years or you've had a job for a number of years, it can be, you create family and friends, and it's a big chapter of your life. And this is one of those chapters that I feel like for all of you it's forever going to be with you. And 8 years is an incredibly long time. And if you've ever been on a set, so what is the shift on sets? 12 to 16 hours kind of...
We were debating this earlier.
Right.
It was like, and
16 was a number.
I mean, towards the end, we were doing
towards the end, we
a
were doing
shorter
10,
day.
we were
12
doing
10
it was like
hours.
10 to 12 hours was the shorter day. I mean, there were times when we first started shooting football. Oh my gosh.
There was the limit did not exist.
16 hours.
The limit did not
It never ended.
Yeah.
It literally felt like it never ended. But also, we were figuring out how to shoot football.
Yeah.
Like at a not a film rate, but a TV where we're turning these episodes around quickly. And so high school football is Friday night lights. It's nighttime. So we would literally shoot the minute the sun went down.
The head shaking.
Until we'd be chasing, we'd see that
Watching
sun coming
the sun
up.
come up.
And be like, we got to get that one more shot. I mean, we were so sleep deprived those
I
first
bet.
couple seasons. And then we really sort of nailed, and again, shout out to our crew, like our DP, our camera operators, our grips, because they really figured out how to shoot football, where we started being able to knock it out very quickly. There'd be 3 cameras going at once. There's the Grip Tricks thing that runs along the field with us. Game Changing Films, who coordinate all of our football plays. Like, we really we really got it down. But that first
first
season,
couple.
boy.
I didn't even play football and I was tired.
I mean, because
Niggas would sit in the bleachers.
on the
I was
sidelines.
sitting in the bleachers for 10 hours.
4 a.m. just cheering.
He's running the ball again. Doing
It's
it
like,
again.
okay, it's 4 a.m. Now they score. Look happy. Okay, look, no, I know you're cold, but it's somewhere where they are. So, like, and
Don't breathe.
God bless.
Don't
Don't
breathe.
breathe.
Because we can see
Yeah,
your
we
breath.
see the cold air.
Breezy, put your tea down.
Yeah.
The steam's coming out of your
Michael, I saw you shaking your head there. So they were torturous, were they? Those nights?
You know, it was a lot of hard work. It was just long days. Like she said, like you'd get to work at 6 p.m. And me and Daniel, we just knew that we were gonna, like, I think the pilot, we drove home in morning traffic at 8 a.m., which was just like, we'd worked all night. It's just part of it. But, you know, I loved the football days, but it was very tiring.
Athletically, was it challenging as well? Is there, obviously it's contained into a small frame, but there's still going to be a lot of running and jumping and catching and
I
throwing.
know Daniel has a story for this in a second.
I do?
Whenever you collapsed on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. From the
Oh,
heat.
they're going to trigger me on this podcast.
From the heat.
I can
yeah.
feel it.
You collapsed.
Yeah, I mean, it was challenging, but I love the sport of football. I love playing it. So to be able to go out there and kind of play in a controlled chaos, because they could hit us, but they really couldn't.
Got you.
So, you know, if you're taking a hit, it's kind of like a bear hug, and they take you to the ground very softly.
Just
So
kinda lay down nice and
romantic.
Very
nice and
romantic,
gentle.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was great.
I kind of now I need to hear this story. So what's this story, Daniel?
Oh, I think what it's season 1 again. Like NK said, we're figuring out
Season
how
1,
to-
episode 10. I can tell you exactly what time it was.
Yeah, the first few seasons, I was stressing NK out a little bit, because I was learning how to play football while we were
I was going
filming.
to ask
so,
that because football in England is a little bit different. You
yeah,
use your
it's
feet
bad.
for
It's
it.
the real one. Anyway,
Wow. Easy. Just relax.
no,
Still
yes,
in America.
obviously football is different, and I never played it, so I was learning while we were shooting, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and so there was one particularly hot day where I had to make a catch, and it just took it, and we weren't quite getting it, and I kept making them go. I kept making them insisting on us going again until it was perfect, and then we went, and I kept insisting, and I passed out.
So for me, imagine that phone call, okay? Because I was already making my way down to set because, and again, this speaks to the beauty of the family we really built on set. It was one of our set costumers who literally called my cell phone and was like, "Hey girl, I don't know that I've seen Daniel eat. And he keeps like doing the take over and over again. And she's like, I don't know. I'm not trying to overstep, but like, and she was also a mom. And so she was just like, her spidey senses were tingling that this is not like, he's being Daniel. He wants to get it right. He wants it to look perfect. He's giving it its all. And so I'd already gotten in my car, thank God, because in LA traffic, it was going to take me 50 minutes at best to get down to the set. And so I left the writer's room and I'd already started, and then I got the call from my writer who was on set halfway there. He's like, so Daniel just collapsed. What should I do? And I'm like, oh my God, for the love of God. And then I'm thinking, I promised his mom that I was gonna take care of him. And so by the time I landed, like he was up and about in his trailer, and I literally just walked up to the door and he's like, I'm fine. And I'm just like, why? Like, why? I'm like, and he's like, no, I just wanted to get it perfect and blah, blah, blah. And so, but like, all of them, especially on football, like, they worked really hard. I mean, Mike already played, but like Daniel never played football before, and they worked so hard to get up to speed on football that now my fight with them on set was, you don't have to do it. We literally have doubles to do it for you.
You guys can
I know,
chill.
but I can't. I'm like, that double can't do your scene tomorrow. So it was a big fight. So they would really want to do their own stunts, and you know, Mike can really heave the ball, and I'd just be like, that's great, but like, I need your shoulder for tomorrow.
Yeah, an injury.
Speaking of shoulders.
Exactly.
I was about to say, I remember that.
Speaking of shoulders.
Speaking of shoulders.
Mike. So yeah, it was, but it all came from a place of them wanting to put their best work.
Well, and I can imagine
on
as well
camera.
that young excitement as well of like being on and doing it for real for the first time must have been palpable, like for you all. And with the writing and the script that you put together, had anything been done kind of like All American before?
I mean, I would say probably Friday night, in terms of the football and everything, like Friday Night Lights, I mean, we studied a lot of kind of how they tackled football on that show. Pretty much every football movie that ever been made, I think I watched it like 150 times. Just trying to capture how we could make it feel real, but I could keep my cast alive at the same time, which a real problem. And then, and then COVID hits, and then it's like, they're like, don't touch anybody. And I'm like, football is a contact sport. Like, how are we gonna shoot this? And so you pivot and you figure out how to do it. And, I think the one thing this show has really taught me in figuring all of that out is I firmly believe there's nothing we can't achieve if we put our minds to it.
Yeah.
Because when our backs were really up against the wall, we had to figure it out.
You mentioned a second ago family, that you've built a family here. You guys might not have been able to see this, but I've been lucky enough to spend most of the day around the cast and NK, and you can really feel the affection between one another. It's been quite lovely to watch how close you all are. I'd see you sort of huddle off in the corner and hang out, and it seems like you really have become, it gets thrown around a lot, that term, in all sorts of places, workplaces, etc. But it does kind of have that feeling just watching you interact. Is that accurate? Breezy, what do you think about that, what I've just said?
I think it was a given. From the beginning, there was a natural camaraderie there. I think everybody, the belief in the show, it brought us closer in the understanding of everybody's stories. And then, like us seeing each other every single day, spending more time with these people than we do our own families, you know what I mean? It just was natural, you know what I mean? So I think what you experienced was real. And, I think we miss each other.
Yeah, for sure.
But seriously, though, I mean, this is, we went damn near every day, minus the weekends, for 8 years, to nothing. I don't have any friends anymore. Daniel doesn't call anymore.
I mean, it's definitely a true family. And, for me, I was just in Atlanta in March, and I found out Daniel was out there. So I was like, yo, I'm here in Atlanta, you here, let's link up. You know what I mean? So if there's any time, wherever I'm at, I'll send a text just to check up on everybody to see how they are, because after spending that amount of time in 8 years together, it's hard to just kind of cut that off. And
Not
just
really.
go on
Daniel doesn't really respond. It's not really hard. It's not
You have
hard.
to stop.
I mean, I don't.
Just show
There
up,
are
Breezy.
some people
It's what
that
I
you
do.
have to like.
I mean, I don't want to say anything, but I did text you about 2 months ago.
That's not true.
Ain't got that response back.
Daniel's been like that since day one. He's not really the phone guy.
Like,
Not the phone guy.
But yeah, it's truly a family, and genuinely, like, I care for each and every one of them, and just want to see how they doing on just a day-to-day basis of like, hey, how you doing? Just checking in on you. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Who's a fan of Preach in the show, by the way, just quickly? Yeah, big Preach fans. Yeah.
I know, exactly.
Kareem, you were only supposed to be on the series for a couple episodes,
Yeah,
right?
two episodes, the last 2 episodes of the first season, and the season finale comes, and NK, I remember NK was like, she was like, Holmes, did you read the script? And I was like, no. She was like, well, you get shot, but you don't die. And as an actor, you're like, okay, cool, I get shot and I don't die, so that means I could possibly come back. And she was like, yo, we plan on keeping you around for a while. And, here it is, 8 seasons. So, yeah.
Yeah, because it suddenly occurred to me, I was like, oh, crap, he's going to read the script and think we're killing him off.
Right,
because
right.
you don't know if, like in the episode, you don't know until we come back. And so I was like, hey, did you read it?
Yeah.
I
But that
promise
was-
you're not dying.
That was a decision, right? Based on like he was killing it, so you changed it.
Yeah, I mean, Preach was going to die.
Is that right?
It's, I mean,
If
literally,
you didn't kill it, we would have killed you.
this character was to serve a purpose, and when we created the character, he was going to play an important role in Coop's storyline, and then he was going to go away. And both Kareem was in the very first episode of TV I ever wrote in my career, on an episode of Bones, and did such phenomenal work that I always remembered him. And I was like, oh, one day I'm going to work with this dude again. And so when we created the role of Preach, one of my other writers, our co-showrunner, Jamie Turner, was like, oh, I got a dude in mind for this. And I was like, that's cool, but I kind of already have a dude in mind for this. We had the same dude in mind for the role. And so we were like, he's gonna come in, he's gonna knock it out, it's gonna be great, couple episodes, quality work, blah, blah, blah. And the chemistry between Kareem and Breezy, and the way, like, Preach was always intended to be a man of few words and sort of like a very intense man of few words, super smart, had studied Greek mythology in prison, all of that stuff. But there was just something about the way Kareem brought that character to life and the way that Coop and Preach just sort of together added another dimension to what was happening in Crenshaw that we were like, we can't let this brother go. So, hence, 8 seasons later, Preach has got a daughter, he's teaching at the school, he stuck around.
And just to add on to that, I, like with doing NK's first TV show, script, with Jamie Turner, I met him maybe 11 years prior when I did a show called The Shield. That I auditioned for 17 times. And the 17th time I ended up booking it, and me and Jamie Turner became close. And so from that, doing that work and having that relationship with him, it was just nothing but God's timing to be able to run into NK and Jamie. So, yeah.
And by the way, your story goes back to like a ways in Hollywood as well.
Yeah.
Like all the way back to the 80s, I believe.
Boys in the Hood.
It was 1902. When Kareem turned the stage.
Yeah, Boys in the Hood was my first film, and I was 12 years old, and
Legend.
That was the start of it, and from that point on, I've been in this business ever since and never stopped.
Wow.
Not aging at all. Like, what's your skincare?
I think he's who they need to be talking about. Because how old was Preach?
Exactly. I don't know. We
didn't give him an age.
We didn't give Preach because he was timeless. Because look at Kareem's skin.
I thought she was going to say tiny.
He could be 20. He could be 58. We don't know.
Who knows?
It's all part of the mystery.
Exactly.
Yeah. How important is it for you to work with good people? Because I feel like you've done a great job at not killing a lot of your cast.
We try. We try not to. And even the ones that we did kill, it was because the story dictated it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget Jay Reeves, who played Sean. I don't think he was a guest cast on the show. I wept sitting in my office when I called him in to let him know what was gonna happen to Sean's character. And he's like, I don't know that any job I've ever worked on that anyone's like apologized to me for like my character dying. And I was like, but I want you to understand it's not that you weren't doing an amazing job. You actually did such an amazing job that we need this to rock Spencer's world. But it was important to me that he understood what he'd brought to the table and why we were doing it and what respect I had for him and his craft, even though the character was gonna be killed off. And so I've been so blessed by this cast, so blessed by this cast, and quite honestly, spoiled by this cast because they're truly, truly consummate professionals. They truly put their heart and soul into the show in the same way that, my writers and I were doing upstairs, and they trusted us, and if there was ever anything where it was just a question. It was never like, oh, I wouldn't do this. It's like, I just want to understand what's happening here, and we would explain what's happening. And they're like, oh, okay, I get it. And I'm like, but I can, we can tweak it. There's nothing we can't write our way out of. And they'd be like, no, I'm good. I just wanted to, now it makes sense to me. It was always so much trust and dialogue. And I just, nothing makes me happier than getting to sit on set and watch them do what they do. It would blow my mind. My editors used to mock me all the time because I would be in a puddle in the editing room floor, weeping at the cut and everything. And they're like, ma'am, they're fake. You know that, right? And I'm like, I know, but that I'd get so sucked into their storylines. And so it's just that they've been a true blessing. They really have.
Thank you.
I've heard you talk very fondly of your cast, but I'm also in a circle that talks very fondly of NK as well. What's it been like working with someone like NK?
I'm going to say it again.
You know what, Daniel? Get off the stage.
I'm going to say it again. She's changed my life. She has changed my life, and I'm forever grateful.
I don't think there's anything like having someone that looks like you running the show.
Yeah.
I think that made a world of difference for me.
For sure.
When it came to my hair in our industry is complicated. I'm a real black person. Struggle. You know what I mean? But it was a conversation I had to have with her that she understood. I was dealing with something. We could not make changes. It was the only thing, who else I'm gonna talk to? You know what I mean? So like, it was small moments, but also bigger moments, her trusting us with these stories, you know, but being able to always go to her and just talk because she looked like me, so I wasn't scared. You know what I'm saying? Or anything like that. I think that was the most precious thing about being here and having you, you know, just take over. You know, it meant a lot for me.
For sure.
So thank you.
For sure.
I know you don't look like Preach. But
Open door policy. It's such an open door policy for work questions, for life questions, for
everything.
being there in life's tough moments. You know? And just was so full of love all the time. And so it made coming to work really, you wanted to work hard for her.
Yeah.
That much more, you know?
Yeah, just when you talk about trust like that, I can't look at you too much.
I know, and Greta and I can't look at each other because we start crying. So I'm gonna look over here, Greta.
Suck it back in.
It works both ways, and to Mike's point, like even on the days that were really hard for me personally, you still made coming to work like feel fun and safe, and I think that that's so rare when you have someone in the position that you're in to feel such safety coming to you with anything. Sorry, now we're all gonna cry. Cry the tissue.
But also, well, with that, not allowing the heaviness of what the cast experiences in and out of this industry to change her tune. Because the things that Mike is speaking of and the things that Greta's speaking of and Kareem and Daniel has a bunch, she's the same person. You know what I mean? So, you know, just constantly understanding. Like, you know, we went through relationship shit and all kind of weird stuff. You know what I mean?
I bet.
COVID, we went crazy.
That's what I think about when I think about what happened in the last 8 years. I mean, everyone here's been through
Everything
it.
everything was an immediate text. It wasn't an email. She was never like, call my assistant.
Yeah.
Let me step outside.
That's real.
What is it? You know what I mean? That's kind of the only thing you get from your mom.
Yeah.
And we were all young in our own right, so that was like
Going
the
away
mom's
from
office.
home
I
as
gotta
well,
tell.
and so to have that kind of support in an industry where you're very exposed to the world, and as a young person, there's a lot of
And
things.
you don't always have that kind of support from a showrunner.
Right.
So we're very like
Not
so
that close.
lucky.
Not that
Yeah,
close.
nah.
You don't get that close. You know what I
Nah.
mean? A lot of it is like sink or swim after a certain point.
Yeah.
The hours of office closed. You know what I mean? But she was available all the time, and for 8 years with her own family that she had to care for. You know what I mean? So you got to respect the time that a person takes to be there.
Yeah.
And I don't know everybody's moment, but I know she was there. You know?
Sure.
That's
So God bless her.
really
You guys make some
lovely
noise.
to,
So
Yeah.
really lovely to hear.
you guys give it up. Look at you, beauty queen. Daniel?
I mean, she was alright.
Y'all not gonna do that to each other.
It was it was special, man, because it was, you have to remember she has a family of her own. She has a husband and 2 kids, and that she's raised spectacularly, and friends, and she has an entire very full, very busy, very, very chaotic like life outside of the show. But you never felt that she was like out of love, energy, time when it came to the set. And we have all been at some point during these last 8 years in some kind of crisis and some kind of mess. Sometimes at the same
Sometimes 3 or
time,
4
sometimes at different times.
One time.
And
Simultaneously.
at some point, we've all had to turn to NK to sort of help weather our individual storms. And she never let us down, not once. She never was not there to like help.
Facts.
You know? And you don't have to do that. There's some showrunners that are like, figure it out and I'll see you on set. Which, you know, that's not necessarily wrong either. That's, their priority is to the job, but NK's priority was always to us as people and as individuals. And when she wasn't bullying me and cussing me out, she was
I don't even think the connectivity, though, like the naturalness and the connectivity between actor and the showrunner doesn't really happen like that.
No,
So
not
whatever
at all.
was in place was just of who we were as people,
for
who she
sure.
was as a woman. And I will say on behalf of all of us, we apologize for some of the stuff. You know that stuff.
Shenanigans.
The
Shenanigans is a good way to
but
put
because
it.
you know the bandwidth was never in question.
Yeah.
And we were like, we didn't have it. We didn't have the bandwidth.
But I'll also say, like, none of the shenanigans were ever, like, it's a showrunner's dream, because sometimes you have shenanigans where it's just like, look, they don't want to come out their trailer for no reason other than they don't want to come out of their trailer. Or they're like, I would never say that line, so I'm not going to say it. Like, I never dealt with that with this cast. Any shenanigans that was going on was because real life shit was happening, and they were trying to they were doing their best to still do their job while real shit was happening. And I'm a firm believer that the art should never hurt the human.
Yep.
So if I can't figure out how to get you through your day or get you out of something, then my art is hurting the human. And it is something that I across all of my shows, that is so important to me, is that there's enough harm the world is gonna cause, the show can't cause you harm as well. And so, no apology necessary.
Thank
Well,
you.
I don't know about you all, but I kind of want to come and work
Yeah,
for
there they
you.
are. There they are.
Thank you.
Pass it down.
I know, right?
One part that sometimes gets overlooked in these things is the crew. And I was lucky enough to go to your set as it was being dismantled.
Yikes.
Oh, I say lucky. It was sad. I went with Lexus, and it was lovely to see the set, but it was kind of coming down, and I could see that the crew were
disappeared.
affected as well. Were the crew with you? Were some of the crew with you for this whole run? Were you
of them.
journeying?
Most of them.
Right. So
Most of them. Truly, I would say probably a good 90 to 95% of our crew started with us in season 1 and ended with us.
Yeah,
and that
wow.
support didn't stop at NK. It went to the end of the crew.
Yeah.
And I think that was the most special thing about this show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because everybody was on a hug every day. First name
Yes.
basis every day.
Yeah,
We
yep.
go in, we greet everyone like we're showing up to Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we had people that traveled from far to come still. We're all spending this time together. You know what I mean? So it was a beautiful experience for that reason, because that doesn't happen either.
And a testament
We
to
got
that is
blessed
we
with a
could
lot of good
have,
people.
there would be base camp PAs or ADs, our assistant director, who, because they're the first ones to see the cast when they land at 4:45 in the morning or whatever time it was. And I can't tell you how many times I would get a text from one of them that's just like, you know, yo, so-and-so is here. I think they might be having a tough day. A hug might be warranted.
That was about me.
Literally, I would get that kind of heads up. And I'm like, okay, bet, before I start the writer's room this morning, I want to make sure I go down to set and hug them good morning. Like, for crew members to be that aware of, like, and not, oh, so-and-so is being difficult, whatever, just like, I think they could use a hug this morning.
Yeah, yeah.
Is super important. Or like if they had a really tough scene, I know, especially in the early seasons, I knew if Daniel was having a tough scene, that I should be down on set just so I'm somewhere in eyesight for when they yell cut.
Yep.
Because if that happened, then it's something that anchored him back to Daniel Ezra as opposed to whatever trauma Spencer James was going through. And so it'd be like, okay, well, I need to make sure I'm down there for when that happens. That was important to me.
As soon as them swings came, I knew it.
Were there, sometimes this happens in workplaces, were there ever any showmances as far as behind the scenes and between cast and crew, or even further to that, within 8 years, did you create any show babies?
There were babies.
never had that?
There were babies who were born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Not by each other.
But not by both parties being on the show.
No, sometimes
Oh, like
workplaces, people
Yes.
form
You know what?
relationships and then they get married, you know.
They do. I think one of the things, and guys, tell me if I think the fact that we shot in LA.
Yeah.
And so everyone was very close, and then everyone retreated to their home. I mean, Lord knows what would have happened if we shot in Toronto or Vancouver, or like if we were all away and we were just our entire bubble.
Yep.
But I don't know. There's just
We were very lucky because when we started, we were never all single at the same time.
thank God.
Yeah.
He said we're all what?
Everybody went in and out of this, like various relationships at different times.
Yeah. Right.
And I feel like, and then, I think so. I think
Crisis
that was,
came in.
yeah. So I think that helped.
Gotcha.
I think
helped.
I think for
It was-
anything it was I started to see a lot of puppies around set.
Yeah.
I saw dogs. That's what the family. That's what it was. Like
A lot of
you
show
see it.
puppies.
Yeah, a lot of show puppies.
Good
That's
on
what
you.
it was for sure.
All right, well, we've had a bunch of fan questions come through our social media, and we are broadcasting live again. If you're listening or watching us on the Warner Brothers YouTube channel, hi from Miami. We're going to hit just a couple of these questions quickly, just quick answers. I'll try and direct them to one of you individually. This one's for Breezy. If you could, little look. If you could play any other character than your own, who would it be?
Daniel Spencer.
You play Spencer?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it would be closest to what I desire, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And that's just heartfelt. Like,
How are your hands?
Huh?
How are your hands?
To catch.
Can I catch? I can't. No. Remember that? We did that. No, I can't do that. I can't. That shit hurt. That ball hurts. My fingers. That ball hurts. I can't do that.
Hilarious.
But I just think his humanity and his compassion and his love for his people. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
that's
that's
nice.
like, that's who I am naturally.
That's who you
so
are
it
in
would
real
be
life.
Easy. Breeze.
Easy breezy.
Easy breezy.
Easy breezy.
Irene,
Yeah.
what's the biggest lesson or takeaway from playing your character?
I said before, second chances, and really just kind of leaning into pouring into your own cup before you go out and pour into others. But yeah, I think everybody's an ex something in life, and with this, you literally see him go from this guy from the streets to then trying to be a manager and watching out for Coop, and then finding out he has a daughter and stepping up to a plate as a father, as a black father that we don't see too much on TV, wanting to be there for his child.
Yep.
And then saying, hey, now that I have this child, I have to, shed my old ways and provide for this person now. And to see him go out and get a job. He could have easily, and at one point he was about to go back to the streets, but Billy Baker offered him a job to teach at South Crenshaw, so he took that and ran with it. So definitely second chances, because everybody deserves a second chance.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Greta, looking back on your character's journey, what are you most proud of?
I always say this, but I think the mental health storyline that we brought to the screen to help sort of normalize it, to help people that look like us be seen on TV struggling with these things and these challenges, and that it's a journey, and sometimes you're gonna trip and fall. You get back up and you keep going. I'm very, very proud of how we handled that storyline, how we told it over 8 seasons. It wasn't just a 1 episode thing or a 1 season thing. And to really see someone face those challenges head on again and again and again, because they're gonna come. And also challenge herself to ask for help from the people around her, which is hard. So yeah, I think I'd say that.
Okay, yeah, good answer. I like that. Michael, what has surprised you the most about your character?
About Jay Bizzle?
QB1.
Give you one.
That's a good question. What has surprised me the most about Jordan? His ability to change. He was pretty hard-headed and stuck in his ways in the earlier seasons, and always looking for Billy's approval. But after Billy's passing, I think that was the catalyst. We just discovered this recently, or remembered it recently, that he is able to be his own man, and that's something really beautiful, and I'm proud of him for that.
Yeah. Lovely. Yeah. This one's for Daniel. Of your time on the show, which scene was the hardest to film and which was the funnest?
Oh man, probably his losing his dad was the toughest to film. That was one of those scenes where NK had to be there. It was obviously we knew it was coming, and I think we did it 3 times, and I don't know if I was holding back or there was some kind of block, and then I asked for one more, and then that's when like the whole like the scream and everything came out, which like wasn't like I wasn't planning on doing anything like that, and it was it took a while, like just kind of trying to come off of that and like come down from it was tough, because it's weird, like your body and your brain doesn't know it's not real, so when you get yourself up to that like emotional state, you it takes a minute for your body to like understand that it's not real. And I built up such a real relationship with the actor who played Corey at that time, and so it was a painful scene to shoot, because I was also saying goodbye to someone that I cared about in real life, but like living it through Spencer, that was a really tough scene. And then you said the funnest
was the word, yeah.
He's like, wasn't my word, it was on here. They said funnest.
Most fun.
We had a lot. It's probably a combo between like the party scenes in those early seasons were always fun, and the football scenes were always fun. Actually, no, there was one. It was a party scene. Spencer's birthday. I had to be drunk, and they attached the camera to me, and we did this like special shot, and I had to just basically like dance around the entire set, like drunk, and like interact with everyone. But there was no script, no lines, no anything. They said just do what you want, and that was a lot of fun. It was chaos, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Awesome. And I've got one more specifically for NK before we talk about what I'm sure we're interested in, which is season 8. So this one's for you. What was the biggest joy in getting to write for a Black-centered cast? And what will this show teach other aspiring writers that want to do the same in TV, movies, books, video games someday?
I don't even know how to sum that up into actual words. I was just so great for it every day. Like, we would be so as part of the, like, when you're prepping an episode, you're shooting an episode at one time and you're prepping the next episode simultaneously. And there would just be moments where we'd be in like a hair department meeting, and I'm talking about the type of wigs, and I'm like, no, it needs to be 4C hair because the kinks in her curls. And I would just stop and be like, where else do I get to have conversation about black hair like this, where I'm actually talking about, sisters in here, y'all get it when we're talking, because the texture's got to match. Exactly. And the blessing of being able to have those kind of, like, that was as important a prep meeting as our props meeting or our production design meeting, is making sure that, like, our actors and our actresses felt beautiful and felt represented and felt comfortable in their looks and their hairstyles and their makeup. And so, it's all those little moments, or, in the writer's room where I realize, oh, if my son watches this episode or this story we're doing and everything, it tells him his life is worthy of being an A story. It tells him that, like, he's not the sidekick, but he is the hero that gets to dream, and to think that something I do gets to instill that in my actual child. Like, just so many moments like that. Or moments where, I'll have an actor, like Tay always, there were a couple episodes where Tay would be like, oh, it's crazy that I actually get to do a scene like this. Like, I've always wanted to do a scene like this. And I'm like, you're Tay Diggs. What do you mean you've always wanted to do a scene like this? But, like, realizing, like, oh, I get to share this moment with him, an actor whose work I've admired for decades. Yeah. There's so many moments like that just come out of us telling these stories on these shows that, like, the fact that everyone knew how to electric slide and Cupid shuffle, important things.
Yeah.
So yeah, just grateful for all of those moments. It's a gift. It's a gift that will live on forever. And I hope that the lesson other writers take away is just, do you tell your stories? Like, there's always going to be a place for them. If we can watch all these other stories that don't include people who look like us, but we still find a universality in the show or the message, the same can be done the other way around. So don't shy away from telling the stories you want to tell and putting your authentic voice into the script, because in a weird way, the specificity of that authenticity actually ends up appealing on a much broader scale. than the industry will sometimes let you think it does. So do you is my message to the other writers coming up.
I like that. She has a way with words, doesn't she? So season 8 airs July 13th on the CW. When you guys got to the final table read, who cried first? Was it a teary affair? Was it a joyous affair? How did it go?
It was very teary. I think Monet cried
started
first.
it.
Yeah.
But Mike took me out.
Yeah.
Because Monet had started crying somewhere in it, but we get to a specific scene, and I know
Laura
the
Baker.
line that's supposed to come out is Mike's, and it's silent. And I'm looking down because I'm already a mess. There's tissues around my script, and it's just silent. And I'm like, did Mike?
It couldn't come out. It wouldn't come out.
I know. I was like,
Yeah.
did Mike
I
fall
think he was at the
asleep?
table
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I was like, did he fall asleep to that? And then I look over, and Mike is just, he's a wreck, and it was a wrap. You just
Like everyone
sniff. Everyone's crying. It was, and even our writer who was reading the action lines during the table, she started, because Mike was crying, she started crying, and I was like, oh, we are never getting to the end. But it was it was beautiful, and I think I wept more on that day than any other day of my life.
Wow. And I imagine
I blame Mike.
Thanks a lot.
that probably carried over onto set too, because when everyone gets you heard the term martini shot, when it's like it's your final shot, when it's a wrap, like when they call a wrap on Breezy, how does that work? Like what happens then? I feel like everyone's.
I didn't cry during the exit.
No, you did not.
I didn't.
I think I was crying for all of y'all.
I didn't. I was really trying to hold it together. Everybody was melting down.
What?
I didn't cry.
Don't be mad at me.
But I was really holding it together. Like I cried and I journaled about it later because I couldn't do it in the
You
moment.
cried at base camp then? I thought I saw some tears. Ooh, I'm tripping.
I was deeply sad though. I just I'm like, I cry for no reason.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I was just like, I'm in a place of trying to hold it together.
I feel like the audience is going to have a similar thing. I mean, you got to remember the audience has been people who have been watching since the beginning, since that first season. A lot of their lives have changed also in that time, and they've probably learned a lot. Every one of your characters has had an arc, a significant arc, and same with the people watching as well. So I imagine at home, there's going to be a lot of tears as well.
It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
8 years, I mean, with the character and with us personally, and I think that even these moments, us getting back together, us watching it again, us being, y'all talking about it again, it's gonna be more tears.
Have
gonna
you
be way more.
watched anything yet? Have you gotten to see anything yet? So you're going to be watching it with us.
Yeah, we've seen the trailer, like you.
Yeah, seen the trailer. And will you
That was it.
organize some kind of a watch party type thing, or I'm assuming there's going to be a finale?
Well, we're gonna have a premiere event, and so everyone will get a chance to see the first couple of episodes up here. But I think I'm the only person on here who has seen them all.
Right.
You saw all of them,
Yeah.
even the finale?
All of them,
I just
multiple
asked her-
times.
I just asked her that link. I was like, you've seen it already.
Multiple times. The final mix session where we mix together, it's the final mix of all the music and the background noise and everything. And when we mixed that final episode, we've also had the same post-production sound mixer since episode 1, season 1. And so, Dan and Mike and all of those guys, we've all been together so long, and we all just sat there and the final credits rolled, and it was dead silent. We were all dead silent on that mixing stage because it was the last time we were gonna all be together. And I was just like, if anyone moved, it meant it was over. So we all just sat there in silence for a while. Yeah. And it's credits were done rolling, and we're all just like, okay, all right, and every time something new comes up, there's gonna be a special on June 22nd. That's sort of a look back on the legacy of All American. And so when I got a chance to see a rough cut of that, I think I texted everyone, and I was like, I'm so emotional. I was a wreck all over again. And so every time there's something new happens, it just, it brings it all back.
It's gonna be a minute, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
a long
sure.
time.
Yeah. Is there anything that, and we have to tread very lightly here because it's about to air, so we can't spoil things. But is there anything to look forward to? For instance, you're vying. You might be taking Cassius's job at some point.
Whoa! No, I'm just kidding.
Is that it's up in the air? We don't know.
Yeah. There's a world where Jordan takes a dream role.
Yeah.
And it might affect a lot of people in his life, and so it's does he make the right decision? Tune in and find out.
Nice.
Find out. Yeah. Greta, do you have any hopes for your character this season? I don't know. I'm
So
dancing around.
terrified.
You already know it, so I'm just like.
I feel like I've threatened everybody before we
was
came out here.
backstage beforehand.
I definitely have hopes for her. I think a lot of those were realized by the time the series ended. I'm really scared, so I'm not going to say anything now.
That's fair. We did get a comment. Will Preach get a girlfriend this season? That was one comment that we got on.
Yeah. That's what I was asking.
Listen, Preach is raising a young woman who is keeping him very busy as teenage girls do.
For sure.
Right. Ain't no room for no girl.
Ain't no room
She
for no
wasn't
girl.
having it.
No, she wouldn't have
She
it.
wasn't
either.
having
She wouldn't have it either way.
Yeah, Mina wasn't having that.
Nah.
Mina wasn't having that
Not
at all.
Not at all.
But we have what we really wanted to do this season is sort of honor the whole history of the show, and so we've got OG cast back on the show. Daniel guest stars on the show. Samantha Logan is back guest starring. Monet Mazura's back. Karima's back. Like, it was really important to us that it was full circle, the OG and new G cast, and a goodbye to all of that. And also the blessing of having a writing staff that had also been around since day one. I mean, our writer's PA on the pilot was a staffed writer on the show. In the final season, she co-wrote the 100th episode with me. Wow. But having that kind of history in the writer's room, it also allowed us to call back moments where, as fans of the show ourselves, we're like, oh, remember that moment in season 2, episode whatever? This is what Layla's talking about now. Let's actually flash back to that moment. And we had the footage. It wasn't like we had to go and reshoot it. Like, we really got to honor the history of the characters and their evolution and call back so many of those moments. And for us, that was so much fun because there'd be so much stuff we'll be like, yo, I forgot we did that. That's amazing. So when she says this now, let's flash back to that moment and really, say goodbye. And it was important to me that every character get their moment to really, everyone's in all the episodes and all the things, but every character get their moment to really for us to say goodbye to them and their journey. And so you'll see, especially in the back half of the season, that each of the episodes is very focused on a character and sort of the completion of their journey and sort of getting to in one of the episodes, it's really just, and this was very important to so many of us on the show, it's Layla and Olivia's journey and how far they've come. And it's almost predominantly just the two of them in the episode. God bless y'all, because we threw a lot at you that episode. But each episode, everyone, sort of a real moment of reckoning for Coop and her driving her episode and sort of coming to a very important moment in her storyline. It was important that everyone got that. And so hopefully the fans feel that fullness when they watch the season as well.
Sounds like we've got a lot in store for us as fans of the show. And something you also might not know, just as an aside, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but Daniel's going to be directing the finale. Is that which is, I think, is very exciting. Was that fun to get into? Change the hat? You've done it before, but
Yeah. I did. This was like my 4th episode I directed, but being able to direct the very last one. And
we couldn't find anyone else to do it, so we're like,
could you take care of this for us?
Let's call Daniel. It's fine.
It was everything. It was everything to kind of end it almost as we started kind of all together, and it just made that last day and that last table read all the more special. Yeah.
All right. Well, on behalf of myself and everybody here, thank you for creating a show that has been so special. We can't wait to see season 8 and see everybody's story wrap up. I'm sure people like it's hard to sort of walk away from. I mean, I feel like everyone's going to come at you now and say spin-off, or are we going to do I don't know, like a reunion show already before it's even ended?
I would just
Do you know
like to
what I
say
mean?
for the record, CW, if you want any spin-offs or reunion shows, holla at a sister.
That part. Hello.
Yeah, we'd love to see it. NK, thank you so much. Michael, Greta, Breezy, Kareem, Daniel, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure chatting to you all. And thank you for coming and joining us on our live broadcast. Brilliant stuff. Thank you.